Isn't just about drivers and cars. It's as much about engineers and mechanics who keep the races running. The sort of people who can virtually rebuild a car on the side of the road if need be. But when the top teams come here, they bring with them support crews that are the envy of local competitors. The international Toyota team has a big crew. And literally van loads of equipment, because this is the level of commitment expected by top competitors.
The team in rallies are very, very important. It's a sport that you need a complete professional team since the first until the last one, and if you don't have a good team, you never can win. They repair, they change each stage the tires, they check every time, every service, all on the car, and sometimes in 10 or 12 minutes they have to change even a turbo or a gearbox or a prop shaft or whatever.
But as competitors splash through the wet conditions of this week's test day, overseas teams were saying they aren't committing many resources to this year's New Zealand event.
Then I'm here about 13, 14 people. We will have during the rally 3 main vans who are together with 3 tire vans, plus 2 chase cars who will go around to follow all the service points.
Right. How many tyres would you use up during the course of an event like this?
I think something like 100, 100, 150, depends how will be the weather. When it's like that, you don't use many tires because it's muddy, and if it's becoming drier, then you need more.
These service crews think nothing of changing a complete suspension system in 6 minutes and a transmission in 12. They're professionals and they're good at what they do. They build the rally cars, then follow them round the world. But what are the locals at the tail of the field? That even in this expensive game, there's still room for people who want to have a go for the fun of it.
This country's rally showcase got underway today. Hot favourite Carlos Sainz was quick to stamp his class on the first stage of this world event. The Spanish #1 is hoping a win here will increase his lead over his World Championship rival, Ingvar Carlsson. But Sainz won't have an easy run in his effort to end the Lancia stranglehold on this event. Leading the challenge for top honours is the race's #1 seed, Ingvar Carlsson, driving a Mazda. Trying to knock over the world's best are 2 of this country's favourite sons, Rod Millen and Possum Vaughan. Earlier this afternoon, Millen had a brief lead over the field. The all-women team of Louise Aitken-Walker and Christina Thorner are trailing the leaders by more than 3 minutes. Drivers have 2 more stages to complete tonight. To Groidangi Morgan, 3 National News.
Carlsson was the top seed when the rally got underway in Auckland today, making him the man to beat for the 65 others in the field. He won the event without too much trouble last year and got off to an excellent start by putting up the fastest time in the first special stage through the Auckland Domain.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It wasn't long before he was under intense pressure from Rod Millen, a New Zealander who now lives in the United States, where he's a professional rally driver. And Spaniard Carlos Sainz in a Toyota Celica 4-wheel drive, who started at 2nd seed. By late afternoon, Sainz was in the lead, just 2 seconds in front of Carlsson, with Millen in 3rd place, 8 seconds back from him. The top local competitor has been Possum Vaughan on the 4-wheel drive Subaru Turbo, who's been holding 4th place for most of the day. But there's 3 more days to run, and some of the really tough stages have yet to come. Graham Booth, One Network News. Started today just 1 second in front of Ingvar Carlsson. And that's about the closest the top 2 have ever been in this rally. The first stage was round the Manukau City Shopping Centre. Kiwi Rod Millen was fastest equal with the VW Golf of German Urban Weber. By the time they got to the forestry stages south of Auckland, Sainz was having engine bothers. He dropped a minute, fixed the problem, and has been charging back through the field. Carlsson remains in front, but at last report was only 39 seconds ahead of Sainz. Millen held 2nd, but has Sainz just 12 seconds in arrears. Australian Ross Dunkerton has been holding 4th. while Possum Bourne is the best of the Kiwis. And Possum is doing a lot better than his Subaru teammate Mike Kirkland from Kenya, who's had a crash. Attempts to push him back on the road only worsened the situation. And Kirkland's now very other victim as he gave an interview.
Yeah, well, we haven't had... Whoa, he nearly did the same.
Still held the lead, but Sainz had already picked up 20 seconds and appeared to be a real threat to the third-placed car driven by Rod Millen. Graham Booth won that. 4 special stages through the Motu region near Opotiki. These are the worst roads in the event, and the drivers know that if they can beat the Motu, they've a better than even chance of finishing the rally. The first stage saw a brilliant run by second-place Carlos Sainz. 21 seconds down at the start. By the end of the stage, he had overhauled leader Ingvar Carlsson. Carlsson tried his best, but couldn't match the pace of Sainz' Toyota Celica. At the end, he virtually admitted defeat.
If we continue with this speed, we have no chance, because we have been driving absolute on the limit up to now. And
Expatriate Kiwi Rod Millen's Mazda 323 blew its turbocharger in a big way. Top local Possum Bourne blew a gearbox. His service crew fitted a new one to the Subaru Turbo in just 22 minutes, and Bourne went into the next stage and almost came to grief. Ross Dunkerton, the Australian who's been in the top 5 for most of the event, had to stop to change a tyre. And Aucklander Neil Allport was out for the duration after going over a bank. 8 cars dropped out today, most of them in the Motu, and that's fewer than in previous years. Graham Booth won Network. The really tough day was yesterday, and the object for just about everybody today was to get to the finish in Auckland. Carlos Sainz, nearly 3 minutes in front, had time to sign autographs. And he conceded he had slackened off the pace. Ingvar Carlsson wasn't going to try anything that would deprive him of his second placing.
the plan must be to come to the finish.
But on a special stage, just after a service break near Porongia, Sainz went off the road, losing 1.5 minutes. But with nearly 3 in hand, that wasn't really a problem. Third place seems certain to go to the VW Golf of German Erwin Weber, nearly 6 minutes in arrears. Possum Bourne's the top local driver, a position he's held most of the way. The event finishes in Auckland at 8 tonight.
Favourite Carlos Sainz and his Toyota Celica were doing it comfortably. All Sainz needed to do was to maintain the 2-minute gap between himself and arch-rival Ingvar Carlsson. But Carlsson wasn't pushing his Mazda. He was content to take advantage of any telling mistake by the Spaniard. Highest placed Kiwi Possum Bourne is in 5th place. Despite gear trouble, he's 16 minutes behind the leader. The all-woman team of Scott Louise, Aitken Walker and Sweet Christina Thorner in an Opel Kadett are in 11th place, trailing by a half hour. After nearly 3 days and more than 2,101 kilometres, this country's rally showcase is approaching the finish in Auckland. Barring more unforeseen trouble, leading world rally driver Carlos Sainz should cruise to victory at around 8 o'clock tonight. To Goirangi Morgan.